Hey y'all, this is Jenny. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. So today I'm here with a flip through of this cottage style flower journal. This was a larger spin off of my patchwork style strawberry collection that I released earlier this month. And she asked me could I make a 5x8 size for her, a larger size, and just pack it with all the fun like florals and just all the bright summer flowers, basically, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I actually did this as a custom order. So she did want the little pop of strawberry fabric in here, and honestly this is literally just a larger version of those strawberry journals, except for obviously the inside I went more floral heavy versus strawberry. So I do think I may have worked on the inside of this journal with y'all on a video. I'm pretty sure that I did, along with another cottage style. That flip through is already up. Y'all, the days are all running together and I can't remember what I did or what I didn't do. But anyways, I wanted to share a flip through of this. I did just film a video altering a vintage greeting card that I put inside here, and that was so much fun. It was a super quick video, maybe 10-12 minutes. I will probably post this before that, but I will link whichever. If I link the greeting card one first, I'll link this in that below, and if I link, you know what I'm saying, the flip through, just hit the notification bell, the subscribe button, all those things, so that you'll see when that comes up. It was just a quick fun video, and I don't know, I just thought it turned out super cute. So getting into this flip through, so she did want a chunky charm dangle on this. Usually when I do these, I either don't include a dangle or I'll do like a tassel, but this actually ended up super cute with this one. So again, I put a little strawberry here, but mostly I put fun flower things. Like, look how cute this little bitty sunflower in the pot charm is. That was from Hobby Lobby. Most of these were from Hobby Lobby. Yeah, this flower, this tulip. So much fun. And again, this measures 5x8. This is a felt base. I love how squishy it feels. And again, did the patchwork style. Now with this one I did go vertically, but then I put this little linen over the top and then added a couple little squares. Like I said, she did want a couple pops of red in the wild strawberries, and then she loved the daisy trim, and then I used this image on the front. And then in the center I put a bright orange daisy and some little beads. This was super fun to work in, y'all, because it was really eclectic. And I mean, like the flowers are just always so fun to work with. But okay, so she loved images of little houses with flowers outside. I used what I could find. This was just an image out of an Ideals book page. I just backed it with cardstock and glued it on top of this vintage linen napkin pocket. I made one of my floating time cards. I feel like I make one of these every season for every, if you know, it's funny. But so I always back it with a napkin with a glue stick. I just put some cheesecloth on this one and stapled a little acetate flower, stamped a little tag, and put in the pocket. But I love these floating time card napkin pockets. Some pretty cardstock. I'm not sure who this is from, but what company, but I only had like a sheet, but I love it, and I thought perfect for this one. Vintage cotton trim, or crocheted trim. Vintage ledger. Put a flower die cut. Did some stamping. That was actually supposed to be green. I didn't pay attention and I stamped it black, but you know what? I think it looks so pretty. Pocket out of this vintage wallpaper. I used lots of little floral die cuts. Vintage Ideals book page. And she also wanted images of flowers like inside the house, so I looked for those. This is a card, a greeting card. I made a little flip tuck spot here. This was an Ideals book page, and I just stitched right here before I glued this down and just glued down this side. I put a faux vintage calling card in there with that little bitty house in the background. And then this was a coffee dyed, like a floral, you know what they would attach to like a bouquet of flowers. And just stitched around an coffee dyed index card and did some stamping for a journaling spot there. Little bitty acetate pocket and put a little daisy in there. Daisies are my favorite, so that's probably why this journal was so much fun. Vintage playing card. Little butterfly charm. I backed this on some craft paper and just I washi it down, or what do you call it? Hinged it. Y'all, I feel like I'm on a game show. You know, what's the game show where like you have to 10,000 pyramid or whatever? You know what I'm talking about. And they're like, it's this and this, and you got to guess it. That's what I feel like I'm doing when I'm flipping through journals every time. I feel like I'm playing a game. But I backed this with some brown cardstock. Washi taped a little dried flower on. I used some of my Amity Bloom washi tape. I broke that little tiny flower off. I'm going to have to glue that back down. If you are watching this, I think, Miss Hannah, I think that you probably would maybe like to put a little bit of masking, or not masking tape, but packing tape over this. And I can do that, but I like the whole realistic feel of the dried flower in there. So let me know if you want me to cover it or just leave it. But anyways, I used some Amity Bloom washi tape. And if you don't know who Nazi at Amity Bloom is, don't go watch her, because you'll probably never come back and... I'm just kidding. Go watch her channel, because, oh, if you love florals, oh my goodness. This is a beautiful image inside a kitchen of a little cottage. Green copy paper. She liked pansies. I made a pocket out of this replica of a vintage handkerchief and just put some of this trim over the top to just kind of dangle down. And just altered some index cards and put another die cut in the pocket. Made a pocket out of an Ideals book page, or 2 Ideals book pages. Put this image inside. And you know what? Now I'm thinking I forgot to put something in the pocket of the back one, but you'll have all kinds of fun goodies to play with. So this is out of a, I think it was Flowers for a Victorian Lady. It was a floral book that I have. Avocado dyed paper, vintage playing card, and then a fun image out of a floral book. This is just a rectangular doily, and I fussy cut. Y'all, I'm horrible at it, but I cut out some pieces of vintage wallpaper that I have, and then just put this little die cut here. Use lots of vintage gardening book pages. This is out of a needlepoint book of this little house. Some daisy trim. Another altered journaling card out of a vintage book. I think this was out of a poetry book. I love this paper in this book right here. It was a book of wildflowers from the 50s. Coffee dyed paper. Y'all, I've got glue all over my hands. My nails are horrible, but you know what? It is what it is. Another vintage flower book or nature book. Black bean dyed paper. Another vintage wildflower book. There's the center of that signature. Or it's one signature. Okay, here's the fun altered greeting card page. So I just covered up the sentiment with some vintage piano paper and a little acetate piece, put a little daisy there, and then I stitched around just some coffee dye paper and did some stamping. And then it opens up like this. And I actually didn't ever add this in on the video. I glued it down on 3 sides. I stamped here, and then what I did was made this a little hidden pocket over here. And you're probably thinking, that's the best part. Why didn't you put it in the video? Well, I had already filmed it, and I was like, well, I'll stick something later. I didn't realize that something would be something that's cute. It was kind of a happy accident. So I just stitched this little flower here, down through here. So this is actually a tuck spot too. But I love how it just goes right in here. And see, it's just a little hidden journaling spot. And then I glued it on an acetate or a vellum envelope. And so that's also a little pocket there. This is where I cut out some wallpaper. And I'll give you a piece of this too in your add-on pack. And just put one of these pretty labels over the top. Here's a tag and then another altered book page. Y'all, this trim sheds so bad. And I will include some fun trims and stuff too if you like all the things hanging out. I feel like if I had a floral journal, like I would just have stuff hanging out everywhere. Tiny little pocket here with a vintage receipt and a little card that says all that is worth cherishing begins in the heart. It was a little gift tag, I think. Oh, love this book page. I wish I had another one of these books. Avocado dyed paper. Put a little piece of trim here. Yeah, I didn't put anything in this pocket, so I'll have to go back and do that for you. Here's a vintage seed packet. And then it's also a tuck spot here, but I just used the pocket and put some fun things down in this little seed packet. And it just slides up in there, but you can also tuck something back here. This was fun. This was an Amity Bloom printable that my friend Arlene had gifted me. And she had stitched me up a bunch of them. And oh, I'm so thankful. Like, oh, they're so pretty. So I had a blank base. So what I did was made a faux postcard, and this was inspired by Lynnette at Cheaply Chic, and I love how she did the glossy accents on her little faux stamps. And anyways, such a fun video. I'll link that below, but that was inspired by her. This was inspired by Arlene. I just backed these little Temu frames with lace, and I just glued it on the front, stamped like a little barcode, you know, here. So these were a lot of fun to do. Then this was a little music paper pocket. I glued it down to cover up this. I didn't love this page. And I just put some of this crinkly avocado dyed, love how it sounds, vellum, and it gets all crackly. I just messy stitched around and put a flower in the middle. And just put some more little floral die cuts in that pocket. Here's a tag I made from some napkins that I just got at TJ Maxx. Those are so cute. I got those to go in the Coquette journals I'm working on, and so I had to include one in here. Wax seal. This was actually the other side of that card with the little flowers on it, and I didn't love it. Was just plain, you know, and had writing on the back. So I put a doily here, made a little tiny pocket here, put a wax seal there, and just some cheesecloth and florals there. Here's a pocket out of this piece of fabric, and I put a vintage tally card. And then here's that yellow table linen that's in the front. I made a pocket back here. Did some stenciling here with some wall spackling and paint. Here's another altered book page. And I just put some fun things down in here. And the reason I folded this up, y'all are probably like, why did you fold that up? But it was already, so this was out of a vintage work basket book, and she had already folded this page up, and it's little flower ads. So I just went ahead and folded it up as if, you know, you had ripped it out of the book and you were going to order those flowers, you know, the old-timey scrapbooky kind of feel. So, and then obviously I'll include some that aren't that aren't folded up in with her add-on package. But yeah, I hope that y'all loved this flip through. This was a super fun journal to work in, and I really appreciate each one of you, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon in the next one. Y'all have a great day. Bye.